Welcome back to Northern Tesla. This week, we're talking about Model 3 versus Model 3 long range. 2021 has been a crazy year, and no, I'm not talking about COVID and all that nonsense. It's the Tesla, of course. It's Northern Tesla. So we're going to talk about the Model 3, which has gone through quite a few changes in 2021. And like the intro said, one of those changes is the name itself. Tesla dropped standard, and now the base model is strictly Model 3, while the long range continues with the aptly named Model 3 long range. The reason behind the change is Tesla isn't fond of the word standard. It doesn't emote quite the high-end range Tesla is known for compared to most other EVs on the market. So that's one change. Let's get into the rest, but before I get into it, if it's your first time here, take a second and subscribe. I'll wait right here. Just play some beach buggy or something, or maybe catch Netflix. As I mentioned, Tesla made numerous changes to the Model 3 over the last year. Tesla doesn't operate like legacy automakers in their traditional model years. They make changes on the fly, and this is why we've seen numerous changes throughout the whole year. Enough changes that I think it's time I make an updated video. I did a video about 10 months ago, which is right up here, comparing the standard range to the long range and which had the best value, in my opinion. Well, with all these changes, I've kind of had to rethink my position. All right, so enough talking. Let's find out what these changes are and my thoughts for the Model 3 versus long range in 2022. So the first big change, an obvious one when talking about value, is the price. The end of 2021 has seen a surge in demand with Tesla vehicles, like it's skyrocketing. This, and along with the supply chain issues, has caused Tesla to not once, but several times over the last few months, raise the price on both of these models. The current price of today, which is December 6th. All right, let's start with the US prices. You gotta be a bit careful though. The US site defaults to the potential savings price. Click over to the purchase price and you'll see $44,990 for the Model 3 and $59,990 for the long range. Compared to roughly 10 months ago, which isn't that long, when the Standard Range Plus was $36,990 and the long range was $46,990. So the gap between the two went from $10,000 to $6,000. This makes the long range not as much as a reach as it once was. Now the change in Canada is much more pronounced. About 10 months ago, the SR Plus was $52,990, while the long range was $64,990. Now, get ready for this. The Model Range 3 is $59,990, and the long range is $66,990. So a $12,000 gap is now $7,000. And I'm not done yet. The kicker with this is because the latest increase, the Model 3 no longer qualifies for the federal rebate. So that's $12,000 back then was actually $17,000 that you were saving. Before, it was so hard to justify that extra $17,000 on what you actually got with a long range. Now, not so much. Before I move on though, if you're watching this video a few months from now, things could have changed. These price increases could be Tesla's way of curbing demand. Wait times are pushing a year for the base Model 3, so this could be a strategy to push customers to more lucrative models. So maybe, but don't hold your breath. When supply chain issues ease, maybe prices will come down. Tesla is definitely not doing themselves any favors by being exempt from the Canadian rebates. And they've always pushed hard to have that rebate included. So they might bring prices down, but who knows? Like they might even go up. The second change has kind of flown under the radar and hasn't really been talked about by Tesla much. If you order today a newly ordered Model 3, which the standard range or base range, see, it's confusing me. If you order that today in North America, you're now getting the LFP battery pack, which was previously only in China. One of my goals with the channel is to not overcomplicate things and simplify the technical stuff for everyone. So that being said, a brief explanation on the LFP battery. It stands for lithium iron phosphate. Basically, there is no nickel, cobalt, or aluminum, therefore they are cheaper to produce and materials are more readily available, so it's a good option for Tesla to be able to produce these batteries for the long term. Now, there's a few pros and cons with them though. The major benefit is to the customer is that they can charge to 100%. If you're new to Tesla with the regular battery, they want you to charge to 90 and only 100 on road trips because 100 is bad for the battery. So these ones you can charge to 100 without impacting the longevity of the battery. And it also increases range. You'll get 267 miles or 430 kilometers, which is good. The drawback is that they're less energy dense. So they're heavier, which makes the 0 to 60 time higher to 6.1. And apparently they're not good in the cold. However, there has been tested extensively, so it's hard to say if that's even accurate and to what degree. But Tesla's website does recommend long range for colder climates, and that could be a clue. Is LFP a deal breaker? Probably not. It does have its advantages, but definitely something to consider if you're in a cold climate like I am. Because of that LFP battery I just mentioned, the range of the base model has gone up a tad. 2 years ago, with this Model 3, the range was 250 miles or 402 kilometers. Then it went up to 260 miles or 420 kilometers with the addition of the heat pump. And now with the LFP battery pack, it's at 272 miles or 430 kilometers. Let's go ahead and compare the long range, which was at 326 miles or 525 kilometers last year. And now the advertised range shows 334 miles or 538 kilometers. But in fact, when you go down to the wheel selection, if you go from the 19s to the 18 tires, your range actually shoots way up to 358 miles or 576 kilometers. So even with all these increases, the gap between the two models has stayed relatively the same between 65 and 90 miles, depending on which wheels you get. So nothing's really changed there. The one good thing though is both models are seeing slight range increases over the years, which should relieve some range anxiety for that base model if that's one you're choosing. And one quick thing about range. It's like a gas car. It's an EPA estimate, emphasis on estimate. A lot of people, when they first get into a Tesla, they're a bit taken aback when they don't get the full advertised range down to the mile. Lots of things go into that estimate, such as speed, weather, highway versus city driving, so try not to get hampered on the range. Previously, other than the range, the other big differences between the two models was what was once called partial premium interior and premium interior. This included such things as the heated rear seats, premium connectivity, and upgraded audio. These days, the base Model 3 now has the option to upgrade those rear heated seats, as well as the new heated steering wheel. And anyone can subscribe to premium connectivity. In fact, if you look on the website on the order page, there's not even a mention of premium interior anymore. I actually had to call customer service to find out what the differences between the two were. These days, the only difference now is the upgraded premium immersive audio. But guess what? You can get a third-party kit and upgrade that yourself too if you want. Oh, and the fog lights, if that's your thing. One thing that hasn't changed between the two models is rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive. And I'll say this about the rear wheel. In my opinion, it handles really well. With the battery at low center of gravity, it gives much better traction to the rear wheels than a traditional rear-wheel drive vehicle with the engine in front. I've been through 2 winters and one coming up. It's cold out. And with snow tires, I've never had an issue. Now, mind you, I'm in the GTA, so I cannot attest to those Northern Ontario or Alberta winters, which are crazy. But anywhere in the US and around here, you'll be fine. All right, so in conclusion, the interior features of both these cars are pretty much identical at this time, or can be upgraded. The difference comes down to range, type of battery pack, and rear-wheel versus all-wheel drive. So for an extra $7K, you're getting all-wheel drive and almost 100 miles of range, which definitely seems like a better deal than it once was. In Canada and other cold climates, that range will be important. And you're getting the nickel cobalt battery pack, which according to Tesla's own documentation, is important in cold climates. In my last video, I preached how the SR Plus was a great option. I'm 2 years into my car, so there's a bit of degradation in my battery, and in winters, I'm starting to think I could use that extra range. At the time, though, I opted for FSD over long range, and well, we all know how that pans out so far. Anyways, I still think for the majority of people, the range of the base model will do just fine for everyday driving. But now that the price differential is so close, if you can stretch for the long range, then that would be my suggestion. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you out in your decision and that you place your order on your Model 3 as soon as possible, because right now it's a bit of a wait. Anyways, if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, and also subscribe and hit the notification as well so you don't miss another video. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Yes, I'm drinking from a Minecraft cup. And over 700 rear wheels than a traditional rear-wheel drive. So now in Canada, in this cold hell, all right, oh yeah, handles really well. with the bat. Do it! Do it now! And even in... I cannot attest to those northern winter. Oh my god. The second change, it kind of has... rebate, and in the past they've always made every attempt to be able to reach those by even having the stupid standard range locked. Anyways, I'm still think so good. Fuck. With the rear wheel drive. Handles just fine. Is there something behind me? No. Okay, good. Alright, thanks for watching. Alright, thanks for... Whoa.